Welcome to another episode of the Courageous Journey podcast. In this episode, my beautiful guest Hannah and I are going through topics that are very trending right now in this society. It's all about healing, the inner truth, letting go, and attracting who you are, not what you want. So, let's dive into it and enjoy this episode. It's recording.
Yep.
Wow. Well, Hannah, thank you so much for joining and accepting my invitation to be a guest on this show.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
I would like to say some things about yourself so people know who I'm talking to and who is talking to them. So, if I'm not mistaken, you started with thinking that you're gonna be a professional dancer
Hmm.
and how life works. Then you had an accident or back pain. You had a back
Yeah.
injury, right?
Hmm.
And you continued with studying journalism, but quickly you understood that this is not something that you want to do.
Hmm.
And after that, you became a yoga teacher
Hmm.
and you published a book of
Hmm.
poetry, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And all in all, you're a traveler because you went to Italy as well, right?
Yeah. Lived in Italy for a little.
And you became a life coach.
Hmm.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
And you did a lot of stuff with social media and you became a yoga and wellness creator.
Yeah.
What did
Perfect.
I what did I forget?
No, you pretty much got it all and in the right trajectory as well. That was awesome.
So I'm a good researcher, right?
Very great. Amazing.
Hannah, what I would like to know first, who are you and what's your story?
Hmm. Yeah, I love that. So I'm going to try to then differentiate it from what you just offered, which is like my labels, right? Because that would be how I move through the world, like through those labels of being a dancer and a journalist and a writer and a creator and a yogi and all that stuff. But I feel like at my core, who I am is just light. Like I feel like that is my truest dharma and my truest purpose on this earth is to be a light for people. I was able to be that light for myself and I'm continuing to work and build on that as I grow and evolve. But truly, I think my highest purpose is to be a light for humans, which is why the unfolding of my life has made so much sense to why from where I went thinking I was going to be a professional dancer, that was still a light in me that was, fueling that dream. But I got to redirect it towards a path that makes so much more sense for me in my life, which is supporting people through yoga and wellness and yoga therapy, and life coaching, which has been absolutely wonderful and amazing.
It's so great because when we are on a journey and we will become a dancer, or in my case, I was a professional football player, we identify so much with it and we think
Yeah.
that's who we are. And then life happens and something
Mhm.
happens. In my case, it was an accident. In your case, it was a back injury.
Yeah.
Or just even if you went to study journalism and you understood that this is not something you like,
Right.
this is also life happens, and we can understand that, or we should understand that life can be one thing, but life can be also multiple things, and we
Yeah.
shouldn't stop it from being that.
Yeah, I think a lot of times the challenges when you have identified with one thing your entire life, that's literally what you become, right? And so for you, with football, that was your entire journey. So that's the only lens that you really identified yourself with and through. You saw your life through that lens. Same with me for dance. But what I quickly realized, and what you're speaking very truthfully, is that sometimes the plan that we have in mind is not the plan that we actually need, you know? And now I can reflect on that years later. I spent 18 years dancing competitively like focused on this is who I am. That's how every single person in my family associated me. They were like, you are a dancer. This is your career. This is your life. This is going to be your profession. You're going to go to Hollywood, like all of this stuff, right? And I had to learn brutally, but very also beautifully at the same time that my labels were not me and that dance wasn't me. It was an outlet, right? But it didn't define me. And the second that I took my power back and realized, oh, I am worthy just because I exist, right? It's not identified or attached to this label or this construct or this activity that I'm doing, but I am worthy just because I'm a human existing on this earth. And then all of that fell away, and the things that needed to happen happened, even though they were uncomfortable and dark at the time.
Yes, and everything makes sense after some time passes, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
With reflection, for sure.
it's so cool that you say that because what we believe are like our belief systems create our reality.
Mm,
And to reprogram these belief systems, if these belief systems are like completely wrong and we
right.
in our core feel them that they are wrong, but our ego speaks so loud that it keeps us trapped.
Mm,
Like once we break these belief systems, we
yeah.
understand so much more, and everything begins with the truth.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, when I went to India, my one of my teacher told me, you have to be 100% truth with yourself, otherwise you will not be able to heal everything you need to heal. Because
Mm,
because your ego, your mind, something will always bring something in front of you, so you can't pass it.
right. Yeah. I mean, in yoga, satya is one of our yamas, which is kind of like an observance or restraint, how we can interact with the world around us and also how we interact with ourselves. But satya, loosely translated from Sanskrit to English, means truthfulness. And so it is that entire practice of being unapologetically truthful with how and where you are in the present moment and not escaping it, but also not being at fault of the ego, right? Because what you're talking about is the ego thinks that, it strives rather, and it strives and it strives and it strives and it tries to protect us and it tries to keep us safe. But sometimes we need to be in the hurt. Sometimes we need to be in the darkness. Sometimes we need to be in the pain in order to access the light, in order to access the pleasure. And that pathway isn't linear. And I just really love what you're saying about that. It really aligns with that yama, with that principle of yoga and how we interact with ourselves and how we interact with the world around us on the path of healing.
Like I have so many questions, but it doesn't fit in just one, in just one episode. But let me
Yeah.
go there. Let me go there. Everybody or so many people, especially right now, are talking about healing and like
Yeah.
because every always when a lot of people talking about one thing, it becomes a trend, and if it becomes a trend, it is also can be misunderstood and misaligned and led to wrong paths, let's say.
Yeah.
So experience beats knowledge. So I would
Mhm.
like to ask you, what is healing for you in simple words
Mhm.
put,
Yeah.
and not on the fancy Instagram post mode, you
Mhm.
know? Just what is healing for somebody who listens to that multiple times a day but doesn't really know?
Yeah. I think in the most simple terms, um, healing to me is returning back to yourself. So it is connection really at its core. We become disconnected, and
Authenticity.
that's when, pain seeks in or darkness seeks in. And not only it seeks in, but it controls, right? And I feel like true healing is the return back to yourself and your truest state. You're reconnected. you're connected to all of you. And because you are reconnected to yourself, you're basically bridging together parts of you or energy within you that was once disconnected.
You
That
try
would be
you tried to make it very simple, right?
try, but this is how my brain works. I should tell you, in astrology, I'm a Virgo moon, which means that like I don't know how much into astrology you are.
I have no clue about it.
Okay. Well, I'm a Virgo moon, which is a very like analytical type. So the way that I interact with
Now I
emotion,
understand everything.
yeah, it makes sense why I love philosophy. I can listen to, podcasts about life for days. I can read books like the Bhagavad Gita and my brain is like going all over. So this is, yeah, definitely one of my favorite things, but it's challenging to make things
Super.
simplified for
Yeah.
me, but I enjoy that challenge.
I mean, sometimes words are not enough, right? Because the feeling you have is already the clearest language you need to
Yeah,
express. And that's
yeah,
why sometimes human language is difficult to express, like to put it very clear, to
yeah,
make it
it's
very clear.
limiting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I would call healing you said that already, but I would give it a name of authenticity. Like,
Mm.
but what is authenticity, would somebody ask? And I would say authenticity is something you are always. If you
Hmm.
don't pretend anything, you just are, and you don't have to show anything. First of all, authenticity is silent and doesn't
Mm.
need to show up, doesn't need noise,
Yeah,
doesn't have to say much.
yeah,
And um, I read somewhere that authenticity is one of the highest vibrations, or even the highest vibrations, even
yeah.
above love. And
Mm.
that makes totally sense because with the ego you can't be on your authentic self. I mean, ego is important for a human, of course, to survive and
Right.
to do things, but
Yeah.
not if it you say that in one of your videos, if it's sitting in the passenger seat, in the driver's seat, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I'll talk about how this analogy for the ego that we need to befriend our egos because they're there to protect us. They're innate, they're a part of
Exactly.
us, right? But they don't define us. And we don't have to be best friends with our egos, right? But we can allow them to be in the same vehicle as us, right? It
Yes.
doesn't get to sit in the driver's seat. It doesn't get to control the car or the vehicle, but maybe it sits in the passenger seat. Maybe some days it needs to sit in the back seat or in the trunk, right? But it's still it's in the vehicle and it's there with you to protect you
Yeah.
and you can inquire about it, but it doesn't need to control.
Yes, exactly. And with that, with all this journey of healing, how important is letting go?
Mm. I think it is a part of the equation, right? If you don't let go, you can't invite in something new.
Inevitable.
If you don't make space, you can't, harvest new energy. It's like one of those things with cleaning out your house. If you want to acquire more things, what do you have that's taking up space for those new things to come in, right?
Yeah.
So I think about that a lot with just with energy in life because we are, cyclical with the sun and the moon. There's a reminder, especially being a woman, but I feel like there's a reminder every month, like you have to let go, you have to shed, you have to release in order to make space for new energy, new people, new thoughts. And that is a part of healing, right? That is a part of the journey. One thing I do want to
100%.
want to say though is I really appreciate you pulling up the idea of, healing being this trend, right, that's going around social media. And it's so true. Like social media takes everything, right? And it just blows it out of proportions or it fantasizes and romanticizes these ideas. And to some degree, I think it's actually supportive and beneficial. And it does get, more communication out there and conversations out there. On the other hand, I do see what you're saying, how healing is something that if we're constantly striving for, we're not healing, right? If we're constantly being like, I need to heal this. Well, I healed that, so now let me heal this. We go on this like cycle of trying to heal ourselves over and over again. And because we're doing that, we're not actually healing, right? We're attaching.
That's so great because I believe that healing doesn't work like that. Healing works the best way, first of all, if you accept it, and the other way is when it goes naturally. Like you don't heal the things you have to heal now, then in a year, maybe in a year you need to heal or understand some other things.
Right,
Everything has his time, and you don't
right,
need to do the work, the whole work now for everything. You're gonna
right,
feel it when it's the right time, and the messages and the sensations will come to you when you are ready to
right.
understand, accept them, and heal them.
Well, think about like injuring a bone, right? If I broke my arm, do I want to be healing that arm over and over and over again? No, right? Like
Exactly.
no one wants to sit
Exactly.
there and be like, I'm in healing again. I'm in healing
Yeah.
again. Like, no, it's not, that's not the point of healing. The point of healing is that you are experiencing some sort of disconnection in yourself or your life and you're reconnecting it, you're rebuilding, you're coming back into yourself. But obviously, the goal is to be in yourself, to be balanced, to be able to move through life through that lens. And because it's life and it's cyclical and there's death and rebirth, again, we will meet healing. And it's knowing that, having that awareness, like we are going to meet healing many times in life. We're going to need healing many times in life. But if we always stay in a state of healing, we never get out of it. We
Yes.
never get to
Wow.
actually be balanced, right?
Yes, 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 definitely. I just wanted to say something now that back in the days, I thought I have to help everybody. And I
Yeah.
and then I discovered, first of all, I have to help myself because from an empty vessel, I cannot give to anybody. And
Yeah,
then if I am ready, the people who need me will come. I don't have to go
absolutely.
everywhere and be like, hey guys, do
Yeah.
do you know this feeling?
Absolutely. I mean, I work as a life coach and I'm a student of yoga therapy right now. So I see a lot of clients every week. And I feel like that's one of the biggest things that I've realized since stepping into that role and these roles in general has been like, I have to really take care of me. I have to nourish me. I have to be in my highest vibrational state and also allow myself to feel the darkness and whatever else I need to do, right? And by taking care of me, I will attract whoever I am meant to support in my life, right? Versus it being something where I need to fix everyone. I know that feeling. When I was younger, I used to be like, I need to be the person who
Of
saves the world. Like, what? I don't know why I thought that, but I thought I had to be the human that was going to save everyone.
course.
And by trying to do that, all I did was burn myself out and exhaust myself. And I entered a state of depression because I
Oh,
was
yes.
striving, gripping onto everything. And the moment you surrender, the moment you realize that what is meant for you will find you, and the people that are meant for you will find you, and the clients that are meant for you will find you, there's like a breath of fresh air. And they come. They do come.
Yes, yes, because we it's abundant. This place here is so abundant, and we take that
Yeah.
away with overthinking and with this
Hmm.
mental barriers. And this brings me actually to the topic I would love to discuss with you. It's about
Yeah.
the you attract what you are, not what
Mm.
you want. And this is
Yeah.
a misconception. I believe that people, when they listen to some Instagram videos, think
Right.
manifestation is working when they say
Hmm.
1,000 times a day, I want more money. It's
Yeah.
everything at the end of the day, it's energy, everything.
Yeah.
And whatever energy your inner world, you're gonna find in the outer world. Like how
Yeah.
you are inside, you're gonna see outside. It's just a
Right.
reflection. And this is
Yeah.
funny because when I was in India, I found my teacher. I
Yeah.
had my intention. Like I had my intention to go and to learn some things about meditation, about breath work and healing.
Hmm.
But I didn't know where when and how. So
Yeah.
I had just a strong intention. And I found
Yeah.
my teacher on the street. He was on a bike. And I was
Mm.
walking by and I told him, wow, you look good. And he said, I'm just a reflection of yourself. So this clicked and we started
Oh,
working together. Yeah. So
I love that.
yes, I'm just a reflection of yourself. I
Yeah.
Whatever you are seeking is seeking you at the end,
Right.
but you have to allow it.
Yeah. You also mentioned in there too the idea of want, right? Like when we manifest things, I want more money. I want more time. I want more love. I want a new partner. I want to travel. I want, like, want. All of that is ego, right? It is your ego mind being like, I want these things.
Hannah, I would say
Yeah.
it is sorry. I would say it is from a space of lacking because I want means you never have.
Right.
But
Yeah.
being in a space of gratitude,
Hmm.
gratitude alone is having everything.
Right.
So
But
it
it's our
doesn't
egos, right? That plays that trick with us, right? Because it's like, I don't have enough. I
yeah.
am not enough. What you're saying, that lack mindset is a mind that has been, um, convoluted, right? Or clouded because we think that what we are seeing is the reality, but what we're seeing is not reality. We're seeing through that lens of lack. And the story changes when you realize and you allow yourself to be in your truest state of I am enough, right? Because I exist, I am enough. And when we talk about manifestation or the law of attraction, right? You attract like attracts like, you attract what you are, that these kind of ideas. It's really important to think about vibrations because vibrations are what the law of attraction is. We can think in our head, we can say, I want, more money, but we could be acting, living, and feeling at a very low vibration that doesn't match that want.
Fear.
Yeah, fear. Because we might say, I want money, but what we're saying is, I don't have enough money.
The sad reality is this, though, that your belief dictates your reality. That means if you think that you are not worthy,
Right.
then you are right
Yeah.
because that's your belief. And if you believe you are worthy and you are loved and you can have everything, that's also right. So that's why
Right.
I don't try to fix people anymore. If you want
Yeah.
to believe that you are not enough, that you are not whatever worthy, okay,
Hmm.
I tell you, I can show you that you are. But if you don't want, then it's your thing. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, it's very true. I think it's the thing is though, we have science is saying that we have like at least 60,000 thoughts a day, right? So
Like,
when people
are
talk
it?
about every day, yeah. And when I mean that makes sense. Think about how many things we have to think about in one day
I
or how
mean,
many things
who calculate that? Who was counting those
I
thoughts?
don't know. I don't know. I'll have to honestly find that study because it's so interesting. It's really fascinating. But having that idea alone was like mind-boggling to me to be like, wow, we have 60,000 thoughts a day at least, right? On top of that, when we think about manifesting and people talk about you change your mind, you change your life, you should change your thoughts, everyone's like, well, how am I going to change and control all of these thoughts? A positive thought outweighs a negative thought because it is the vibrational frequency that we're talking about. So when you talk about manifestation of the law of attraction, or attracting what it is that you want in your life and starting building that, from the inside out, you really have to look at how am I vibrating, right? Like, how is my energy? And is my energy aligned with my thoughts? Because we can have a ton of negative thoughts throughout the day, but if we switch that and change our actual feelings, right? How we feel about life, how we feel about the things that we want, that's when manifestation happens more fluidly because
Wow.
the focus isn't the mind. It's not, oh, I'm going to think this thought a billion times. Because to be honest, that's really freaking challenging. And a lot of people won't do it to be like, I am worthy. I am worthy. I am worthy. I could say that a million times, but if I don't believe it, if
Yes.
I don't actually feel it, I will not be worthy, right? I won't feel worthy.
That is so amazing. I just recently saw a video that is talking about a similar thing, that is talking about you don't want the person, you don't want the job, you don't want, I don't know, whatever. You want the emotion. You
The
want to feel
feeling.
exactly. You
Hmm.
want to, and if you can create the emotion before the actual experience, then
Right.
it will come to you.
Right. It's like with, I mean, when you think about how many people are shopping right now for the holiday season and getting gifts for people, everyone's like, I want this. Well, do you really want the outfit or do you want the way that you think it's going to make you feel because you saw it represented on someone who was expressing that emotion, right?
Yes.
Like there's a whole psychology behind it, but it's such a interesting thing, especially when we look at how much we acquire in our lives because we think that we need or do to ourselves, right? We change our hair, we change our face, we, wear certain clothes to look a certain way, but it's not to look a certain way, it's to feel a certain way.
Yes.
So all of it comes back to your feeling, right? If you can change the way you feel, it does start in the mind. It does start with your thoughts, right? Your thoughts influence your feelings. So it does start in the mind, but it really matters how you focus on your feelings, how you focus and visualize in your body the sensations and the experience. And that's what makes it so visceral. And then you attract it much more fluidly, much more easily.
This universe is mental. Easy.
It is.
This universe is mental. Um, I will say this for all the healing and all the understanding, because I don't want to sound like scientific and difficult. I want people to understand in simple language.
Yeah.
I would like to say this, that if you want to start the journey, or you are already on your journey, you are always on your journey.
Right.
Understand, please understand this, that nobody in this world will save you
Mm,
until you do it.
right.
Nobody will do the work for you. Nobody will give you courage to do that, to do the
Mm,
things if you don't go for it.
yeah.
We have to go for it in a certain moment of our life in
Hmm.
order to be prepared for the healing, in order to access the journey, in order to say yes to us, to say yes to life. You have to
Yeah.
do the work. Nobody will sit there, and you don't even have to, because this is also a misconception. You don't have to meditate. You don't have to do breath work. You don't have to take
Hmm.
psychedelics.
Hmm.
Your healing can look completely differently. Your
Yeah.
healing can be like going for a vacation with a loved one,
Right.
whatever it is.
Well, you talked about authenticity, right? And healing is authentic. So it's pulling back that idea of what you said before that when we show up authentically and ask ourselves, like, what do I really need? How do I need to be taken care of? How do I need to support myself? And it can be so simple within your life. That's when that journey begins. That's when you're really present with that journey because you're not focused on, how do I need to heal based off what the world is telling me, right? It's how do I need to heal myself because this is what I actually need,
Need.
right?
Yes.
This is what I need to do to feel my feelings, to move through this, to grow through this, rather than to resist it. And I think it's so valid too to be reminded that we come in this earth alone, right? And we leave this earth alone. And I think so often we get so caught up in the narratives and the stories and we have been taught, unfortunately, by society to seek outside of ourselves.
Oh,
We've
that's a
been
big
taught
topic.
to look into, organized religion. And this is not a shame on religion. This is not a shame on any of that. This is a recognition that we have been taught as a whole, not just in religion, but in school, in everything. We've been taught to look outside of ourselves. Oh, you need an answer? Go seek that outside of you,
Yeah.
right? but the truest healing and the truest empowerment is inside of you. All of these answers, they're already within you. It's learning how to access them. And
Yeah.
that's when it gets complicated. That's when people hit blocks. That's when people, search for someone else to save them because it's not a fun journey. It's really not. And
It's
I
not.
don't want to romanticize it because it's not easy to take your own hand and say, let me walk myself through the darkness,
Yeah.
right? Back to the light. It's challenging, which is why support is amazing. Therapy is amazing. Yoga is amazing. Having mentors is amazing. Life coaching, all of it, doctors, like church, religion, whatever it is that you need, it's all amazing
Yeah.
as support.
The support, beautiful. I'm sorry to
Right.
interrupting you. I want to
No,
add
you're
something
good.
on it. It's just
Yeah.
I wanted also to ask you about it.
Yeah.
Three things that I give to every, let's call them clients because I call them my people. Every
Yeah.
every client I have is to strengthen their journey, their healing, and their understanding. Three things,
Yeah.
three basic things. It's nutrition, it's
Mm.
exercising, and it's meditation. And meditation in a way they want. Meditation can be reading a book. Meditation can be, because many people think meditation is sitting on a rock and
Mm.
closing the eyes and doing this mudra, but it's not.
Mhm.
It can be listening to music. It can
Yeah.
be just watching at the stars, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But
It's a state.
yes, it's a state going inside of you. That's meditation. And
Yeah.
find your way. But I think these three principles, nutrition, exercising, and meditation, you can
Hmm.
you can choose also meditation for with breath work. Do breath work and enter this state of
Right.
meditation. That's also fine.
Hmm.
But these three basic principles are for me, you can't go around them. You can't go
Yeah.
around them because your body is your church, your body is your temple. And if your
Yeah.
temple is not clean, how should a clean energy enter it?
Mm.
And your
Yeah.
connection to something greater than you, how can this happen if your house is dirty?
Right. Yeah. I love those principles. I would agree too. And I would say to refine it for myself, like the way that I experience it would be body, mind, and soul. Because in yoga, there's, I mean,
Holistic.
I bring everything back to yoga because it is my whole life and it's my way of living and being. But truly, when we come into the second sutra of yoga, which is Yoga ha Chittavritti Nirodha, which means that yoga is the practice of calming the fluctuations of the mind. And that's the whole kind of essence or goal of the practice. And that journey for me is mind, body, soul. How do I take care of my body, which you're talking about exercise, nutrition? How do I take care of my mind? Meditation, concentration, focus, rewiring the brain. How do I take care of my soul? What brings me joy? What brings me joy? And can I follow those little tidbits, right? Because if we forget that, then sometimes life just feels pointless because people will be in like a rat race of like I got to take care of my body, I got to exercise, I got to take care of my
This,
nutrition, I got to eat good,
this
I got to take care of my mind, I got to meditate. And then it's like, why am I doing all of these things? Like, what is it actually bringing me? And it's the joy, ananda in yoga, bliss, joy, peace, light that we're really called towards as humans. Like, it is innate. We are born in darkness, but we are the light, right? We come out into the world born as that light. So
yeah.
it is in us just as much as the darkness. And if we can ignite more pathways to pleasure, more pathways to joy, that stuff becomes so worth it. Meditating, we start to crave it. Showing up for your body, showing up for
Yes.
your mind, you want to do those things because you know that when you do those things and you take care of yourself in those ways, that your pathway to joy is much more clear.
Yes, and who doesn't want to feel those things, those emotions, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
this is the beauty. You don't need external support. You don't
No.
need to take anything to enter this state of being because
Yeah,
you have everything already.
I
You just
totally,
have it.
it's in you.
That's so
Yeah.
beautiful, Hannah. That's so great. Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Like I'm sure we could talk about hours about
Yeah.
for hours about these things, but I would like to keep the this episode very simple. So
Yeah.
this would be it from that from my side for the first time.
I
And
love it.
yeah, and I really want to express my gratitude to you for finding your time and sharing all these messages because I know it
Yeah.
comes from the right place.
Yeah. I hope that it was insightful, and it's always a pleasure to connect with other like-minded souls and spiritual beings who are, just out here doing the work for themselves and for the people in their communities. That's really beautiful.
Well, wow, thank you so much, Hannah.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
maybe we will do another episode sometime, but
I'd
this was
love to.
for the first. Thank you. Let